Hello everyone and welcome to Edusurg Clinics. This is our research publishing series and today we are going to move on to the next topic, that is a review article. So in this topic we will see what a review article is, the structure of a review article, then a brief description of its parts with examples, and then step by step construction of a review article with some tips and practical guides. So, what is a review article? Basically, it is a constructive summary of a topic. Now, the topic can be rare or common, but what you are doing is instead of a reader wanting to read, say, 30, 40 articles that have been published on a topic so far, you are trying to create a constructive summary of that topic. So, there will be historical as well as recent advances and practices. You will have to discuss the literature on the review article in a way to drive it towards a conclusion. It is done with or without statistical analysis of the published data as a whole. So, if you don't do a statistical analysis of the published data but just present the statistical analysis that has been done so far on a particular topic, that is a type of a review called systematic review. And if you do a statistical analysis of the published data as a whole, then it is a meta analysis. So when we talk of types of review other than systematic review and meta-analysis, the purpose of the study determines the type of review, right? So the decision to do a particular type of review will depend on what is the purpose of study. So it can be a narrative review, which is what we are going to discuss today. It is a qualitative review of the available literature, highlighting current evidence and practices. So, narrative review is more on topics that do not involve a statistical analysis. So, something like a review of anatomy, review of imaging, things like that. When it can also be a historical review, which is a type of narrative review which compiles historical practices, development of evidence over time, or scientific contributions in a particular field. An example of this would be, say, the different types of pancreaticojejunostomy. So the anastomotic techniques have evolved over time, and if you summarize all those techniques in one paper, that is a historical narrative review. Best evidence review is basically a selection of studies with systematic exploration of methods and results. We have already seen systematic review and meta analysis. So, in systematic review, the results from various high quality studies are analyzed individually and evidence is compiled. So, unlike a meta analysis, in a systematic review, the statistical analysis is given as per the individual topics and articles and not as a whole. Okay, if you do your own analysis on already published statistics, that is a meta analysis. So, analysis, if it's done, it's meta analysis. If you are just presenting what is there in a compiled manner, then it is a systematic review. So these are some of the types of review: a narrative review, a historical narrative review, best evidence review, systematic review, and meta analysis. When it comes to structure of a narrative review, it differs from original article. Of course, it has a title, then you have an abstract, then introduction, then body of the article. Now, this is where it differs significantly from original article. A narrative review will have different contents or different parts in the article based on each topic, and we will see some examples in our template towards the end of this video. But the outline has to be creative in a sense that it drives a particular topic home towards the conclusion. So then you have conclusion and then you have references. Again, title, abstract, introduction. We look, the title should be catchy, concise, and clear. Clear in the sense that it should be very clear from the title itself that this is a review article. And you may need a short article sometimes based on journal requirements. When we talk of abstract in a review article, the abstract will not have parts in a narrative review. Whereas the abstract will have parts like introduction, methods, discussion, and conclusion in systematic review and meta analysis. For narrative and historical reviews, your abstract will just be a paragraph and the word limit will as per journal guidelines. When we talk of introduction, it is more or less similar. You are highlighting the lacuna in the existing literature. That is the reason why you are doing the study, or it may be new trends, new evidence, or a new problem that you are trying to answer with the available evidence. It is very important to understand that you have to stick to your topic and your lacuna. So you can't discuss the entire topic from 100, 200 articles. You have to identify an area where the literature is not clear or you want to clarify a specific part of literature, and that is where then you focus your review article. It is important to include the methods utilized in the databases search. So let us see an example. This is one of the review articles that we recently published. The article topic or the title is very clear that it is based on first jejunal vein, jejunal trunk, and Whipple. And it's a review article because we're trying to resolving the literature conundrum. So this is catchy, this is concise. The abstract, like I said, is descriptive because this is a narrative review. And if you want, you can ever look at this article. It's already accepted and published. So coming to structure body of the article, like I said, body is based on the topic and we will see some examples in the templates towards the end of this slide. But remember that your topic decides the headings of the body, and based on those headings, you can discuss the historical evolution or the advances. You can discuss the definitions or the changes in definitions. You can discuss dilemmas in management. You can discuss guidelines that are changing, things like that. It is very important that a review article does not become monotonous. Okay. These are long articles, say 2,500 to 5,000 words based on different journal guidelines. But it is important that the reader does not get bored and can take home one or two key messages from your article. And these messages can be very easily conveyed by using figures and charts. So anatomical details or algorithms of management, algorithms of treatment, tables summarizing the literature, pictorials of a technique, and classification systems, some of the examples that you can use. You have to be creative when you are trying to write a review article. Conclusion is basically a reply to the title or strong recommendation based on already published evidence or an answer to your aim and objective. So it's a fairly simple part of the article, but a very important part. Usually the readers going to read abstract, conclusion, the title, and more or less the introduction. And by this time, the reader has made up his mind that this article is good or bad. So these parts are very important. Example of body, the same article, the first regional vein article, what we have done here is we have summarized a lot of data and we have created a simple graphic depicting the anatomy and the variations in a single line. Coming to how you can use various articles in a single table, you can see the number of references, at least 10 different article references here. And what we have done is we have very simply summarized the data. Okay, so anterior coursing jejunal trunk, and we have put all its points in one table from around 6 different articles. So this is how you can summarize a very particular point that you want to highlight in your article using figures and tables. Now, when you are constructing a review, it is like constructing a building. Your foundation should be good. The pillars of that entire building are based on the topic and your literature search. So you have to do an extensive literature review. You have to identify the search terms based on the topic. Once you have done both of these, you can choose a concise title and draft an outline. Once you have got your outline very clear, then you can start writing the content When you are writing your content, it is a very practical tip to make the references at that time only rather than waiting towards the end. You can put the references in the end in numbers, but for the lines that you are quoting from literature, remember to keep a rough data of which line you are picking from which article, because a review article can have 50 to 200 references, and sometimes it becomes very confusing in the end to put those references. Check the flow of the article. It is very important that the article has a good flow and a lot of illustrations and tables. Once all of this is done, you can number the references in a sequential order. And once your entire article is ready, creating an abstract becomes very easy. So a lot of the time students try to write the abstract first and then the article. It's a very practical tip that once you've written the entire article, summarizing the entire article into 10 lines becomes very easy. So, writing an abstract, we are putting at the end of the steps to construct a review article. And the sequence, if you follow, you will not miss out on any points while writing a review article. Now, before we end, some very important points when you are writing a review article, remember that it is a review. So, the word itself says you can't put new unpublished data. Suppose you have seen few cases of similar topic in say 1 month back, but the data is not published, you can't quote that data in your review article. No new conclusions or recommendations can be given in review articles. So your conclusions and recommendation have to be based on established literature. This is very important. Each and every line should have a reference and the flow of the article should be good. Lengthy description should be avoided. Think of yourself as a reader when you are writing an article. If you have a very lengthy description in the article, people are not going to read it in detail. So this is our go-to book for further reading. If you see the template here, usually we don't discuss the template in our videos, but for this template, you can see that we have given some examples based on the type of the topic. These examples are so that you can get ideas while writing the body of your review article. So in example, if it's an anatomy topic, the headings can be embryology, nomenclature, origin, course and relations, blood supply, lymphatic drainage, nerve supply, variations in anatomy, clinical relevance, and so on. So this is the template that we used in our first jejunal vein and Whipple's article that we have discussed in example in this video. Now, if it's a disease topic, you can have definitions and classifications of disease, causes, pathophysiology, then you can have natural history of disease, clinical features, then you can have management, that is investigations, diagnosis, differentials and treatment, and follow-up and long-term outcomes. So all these different headings can become the titles of your body, right? So this is how this template may help you in doing your review article.